Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the smaller jackpot from the new Tenacious Verb series Embryonic Inversion Euclid. Euclid is going to be a Water Machina card, and I'll be taking a look at his leader skill, team skill, and active skill and letting you know my thoughts and opinions about this card. First off, this is a new Machina card, which we haven't had in a while. There was a time where Matter was releasing Machinas left and right. All collaborations were Machinas, all new series were Machinas, but this is the first time in a while that we have a new Machina card as a small jackpot. Looking at his leader skill, we have when the team has only Machina cards, team attack times 6.5, HP and recovery increases by 1.5. For every 3 groups of runestones dissolved, 3 Machina water runes will be generated, and damage received will be decreased by 40%. Just looking at his leader skill, it looks like he is going to be a slight combination between Einstein and Mikaito, with the ability to generate more water runes and also reduce your damage taken to be more tanky. However, let's take a look at his team skill before we evaluate his entire leader kit. We have that the first 15 runestones touched while moving will become Machina runestones. For every group of runestones dissolved, EX combo count increases by 5 to the max of plus 30 for 6 groups. And for every Machina dissolved, you recover 5% of your HP. Additionally, the craft apparatus will be fully charged after entering the stage, and HP basic value of Euclid will be multiplied by 2.5. You also get Machina Dynamics, which is just the fuel dynamics for Machinas. The 100% fuel, extra attacks, etc, etc. Looking at his leader skill, I do think that is going to be a little bit lacking. As a Machina card, it is going to be a little bit weak. 6.5 team attack is good, up there in the meta, but you are missing other attack multipliers, which means that your damage output will not be that high. You do get extra combo counts or EX combo counts, which will increase your damage, and you do get guaranteed sky drop from his leader skill, but I don't think that is going to be enough to beat harder stages in the game, like nightmare stages or horror stages or challenge stages as well, because your damage output will be a little bit lower. HP and recovery is going to be nice, and damage received minus 40% means that you will be really tanky. And Euclid also gets an HP buff as well, which also will increase your tankiness of your team. However, defensive teams aren't really going to be that useful to clear later game content, because a lot of the content later in the game is going to be a lot about damage output and really tanky enemies and really annoying shields, which means that you do need to bring a lot of shield breaking potentials, utility cards, damage output, and things like that. Euclid doesn't really have any shield breaking potential with his leader skill and team skills. His damage output will also be a little bit lackluster, but he is going to be really defensive and really tanky as well. That means that if you want to run him, you might want to bring a damage booster and cards that can deal more damage in order to grind down the stage and kill enemies that need to be killed in one shot. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I do think Euclid is going to be a little bit lackluster as a leader. So let's go ahead and take a look at his active skill. His active skill is going to be a CD6 skill, where you will turn the bottom 2 rows into fixed numbers of water, earth, fire, light, and dark, right here. All enemies will be frozen, and attribute will be changed to water, and their defense will be lowered to 0 for 3 rounds. For 1 round, the team will not be poisoned, and runestones can be dissolved in groups of 2 or more in the first batch. When all Machinas in the team have 100% fuel upon skill activation, effects 3 and 4 will stay in play for 3 rounds. Honestly, this active skill is really good, really good, because 1, you get the ability to freeze your enemies, which is increasingly more important now in the game to inflict status to your enemies, especially if they have free shield, where they will only take 10% of damage or 0% of damage if they're not frozen. And you can also nullify some of the enemy skills if they're frozen. For example, the most recent example would be Todoroki in one of the All Might stages, where if he is frozen, burning runes will not apply anymore, which means that you are able to spin freely. Things like that, Madhead has been including more and more in the game, so being able to inflict status effects is going to be really useful as utility cards. Furthermore, Euclid will also nullify poisoning, which is very rare in the game. Both the enemy skill and the effects to counter it. There are only very few cards that can negate poison, and those are really situational, but they become really, really essential when you encounter an enemy that poisons you for like 99% of damage. So that being said, Euclid could become a really good utility card if Madhead decides to introduce more poison enemies to the game. So in my opinion, I do think this active skill has a lot of utility. You can dissolve runes in groups of 2, which also increases your combo count and also allows you to spin easier, higher combos with easier movements. You can freeze enemies and lower their defense to 0, and also you can avoid being poisoned by the enemies. So overall, I do think this active skill is really, really good. CD6, it is pretty fast as well, so it is a really good active skill. However, it doesn't really complement his, or it does complement his leader skill, because the more groups of runes you dissolve, the more water runes you generate and the more attack you have as a leader. However, I do think this will be better suited as a member active skill to buff up your other better leaders, in my opinion. But yeah, so overall for Euclid, I do think he is a little bit lackluster as a leader, but I do think his active skill is amazing. He does have some bonding skills, but these bonding skills are just okay. They're nothing too groundbreaking. But I do think his active skill is going to be really good, especially now and in the future as a member as well. Whether you should pull for it, I do think that his active skill is really good. However, just in the same way that I wouldn't recommend to pull for Ben just now, because New Year's or Lunar New Year's is coming up really soon, and there's also collaborations like the Monster Strike collaboration coming up soon. That means that I would rather wait for news on those cards before you pull for these cards. His active skill is good, but we might encounter a new black gold card that is really broken. For example, Tsuyo lasted for a very long time and people still use him. So if we encounter the next Tsuyo, you don't want to be lacking your diamonds in order to pull him. So I would say save your diamonds until the news get released, and then make an informed decision on whether you pull for Euclid, or if you want to skip and save for collaboration or for the new black gold card. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!